Yashara. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Yeah, we'd like you to be seated, please. Madam is here and Bansalji is here, so we should start now. Ladies and gentlemen, hi. Let's have a seat. Madam is here. Normally, I would have the guests sitting at the dais, and but Madam Simi Jain ji, Shri Sanjay Bansalji, Dr. Pradeep Kumarji, our President Yashpalji is not here, but he's just coming in. He busy. He's just coming up. Shri Cyrus Kargaraji, distinguished panelists and moderator, ACFI board members, online audience, and I gather we have 462 at this moment, and the count is increasing. Ladies and gentlemen, just for your information, we are live on YouTube now. Are we live now? Good. So thank you for sparing your valuable time to be with us today. It's great to see you all after a gap of 3 years. Yes, Corona played a dampener, and I am convinced and I believe it's time we stop talking of Corona and moved on with our business. Shri Sujit Bhujbal ji, our chief guest and chief commissioner of Delhi, he has sent his regrets just now. Apparently, he's got caught in a meeting. But he has sent his wishes for us, to all of us, and wishes us to have a nice AEO program today. Yashpalji, welcome, sir. Madam, AEO has been a long-standing request from our ACFI members, and it got delayed because of the pandemic. I'm sure today we will know the importance the benefits and the process of AEO from the experts sitting here amongst us. And for this reason, we made this a hybrid event whereby you are here and then we have live audience, like I mentioned, 462 is the count. And I'm sure 2, 3 have been added by now. So we would like, Madam, the entire Indian community, logistics community to be on this one platform today. And that's the reason why we've done this. I like to be very short here. Please feel free to ask questions during the question and answer session, and more on the AEO as we move along. Where is Periman? Periman? Yeah. So I'll request you, Periman, if you could just honor our guests. Where is Brijesh? Brijesh. Multitasking. Madam Simi Jain. Shri Sanjay Bansalji. Dr. Pradeep Kumarji. Shri Cyrus Kapdiaji. Yes, 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 please. Although I've been told and our President Yashpal Sharma ji. This is our first, so you have request you to be here. And I request you, Pediman, he's our chairman, Delhi chapter, to say a few words.
Really few.
Thank you so much, Arvind.
Good afternoon, everyone present here and connected online as well. On behalf of ACFI Delhi Chapter, I welcome Srimati Simi Jain, Principal Commissioner of Customs, ACC Import Zone, Shri Sanjay Bansal, Commissioner of Customs, ACC Exports, Delhi Zone, Mr. Yashpal Sharma, President ACFI, Mr. Cyrus Kadgara, immediate past President ACFI, all the dignitaries, guests on this hybrid ACFI seminar on AEO certification process and benefits. A warm welcome to all our panelists. Thank you so much for accepting our request for being part of this panel discussion. A brief note on ACFI. ACFI is a unique association having representation from all the stakeholders of entire air cargo, logistics and supply chain industry. ACFI works for growth and development of air cargo industry within progressive, liberalized policies of government for the rapid and sustainable growth of Indian economy. So just connecting to the topic of today on AEO, as all of you are aware, AEO is a voluntary compliance program. It enables Indian customs to enhance and streamline cargo security through close cooperation with the principal stakeholders with importers, exporters, logistic providers, custodians, terminal operators, custom brokers, and warehouse operators. I have got some inputs that we have around 4,500 AEO certified entities in India who are working closely with the customs to ensure safety and security of their supply chain. In return, they get advantage of an ever-widening set of benefits from Indian customs, such as faster processing and clearance of cargo, deferred payments of duty, direct port deliveries. Finally, AEO program is a big step towards ease of doing business taken by Government of India. So just a thought, as Arvind also mentioned, this AEO program has been on our radar at ACFI for a long time. So we have been actually discussing these points, what can be next thing for the industry in our monthly ACFI chapter meetings. We have been organizing such programs, mostly in last 2 years, they were all online, but we thought let us break that monotony and come here and do it hybrid at least. So hybrid thought was to make sure we have a wider reach and our industry stakeholders across the country can join and take benefit of this important session. So we got some inputs from our industry stakeholders. Majorly, we factored in 3 parts. One is that members would like to have more clarity in the process itself. Second is there are certain members who have already applied also for the certification, but they feel it is taking some time, so they want to understand more about how to make it faster or if there are any gaps our end. And there is a large set of members who have actually got the certification, but they are wondering what exactly is the benefit out of it and how to take that benefit. So these 3 major steps of this program will be dealt by our esteemed panelists today. And I think most of the clarifications will come out. Once again, welcome to all the dignitaries, members and guests. Thank you so much. Arvind, over to you.
to say a few words, please.
Very good afternoon. Thank you very much, Arvind and Kauzab, for setting this up. It's a pleasure for being here. My apologies for walking in a bit late. With Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations, we had the Ganesh Visarjan at my home, which was at 2 o'clock. So, synonymous to the AEO program, which is built on trust. I had to trust a lot of factors today for my wife to set up everything on time, for all the invitees to be there, for Panditji to do the puja on time. And then, of course, something that was not in our hand, the traffic to probably not hold us back. So, but Srimati Jain, Mr. Bansal, Mr. Kumar, Rosie, pleasure to have you all here. It's a great honor for us that you could take out time and be here. It's an absolute pleasure for us. ACFI, which has which is just about to actually complete 10 years next week. And it's a pleasure that I am one of the founding members, and our another co-founding member, our past president, Cyrus Katgara, is also here. ACFI over the last 10 years has been working on various aspects of the air cargo industry. ACFI was set up to primarily bring all stakeholders together. While we do have various individual stakeholder associations and forums, it was felt that a common voice and a common platform was needed, whereby we could bring all stakeholders together who could come forward and deliberate internally and then probably present a joint point of view to the other stakeholders or government and the regulatories to possibly summarize what we could do together. And it's been a great journey. Last 10 years, we managed to put a lot of things together. A few things are work in progress, like always. It's a pleasure that we have been interacting also with customs over these years. Now, I think a lot of the first 10 years journey was about building up and bringing all the stakeholders together, because obviously the interests of various stakeholders are different from each other. But we're glad to announce that we managed to stitch everything together. Today we have representation from all airports. We had Mumbai and Kolkata, which were the last ones to join in ACFI, which happened just recently. And we can now truly announce that we are a pan-India body. AEO program, like Mr. Kaul and Arvind mentioned, is a fantastic global program. It's a program which is built on trust. I think it's about the best security, best practices around the world amongst all stakeholders end to end. And although the program has been in India for a few years now, but also there is a little unknown about the whole program too. So I'm sure today's program will help us to know a little bit more deeper into this, create areas of collaboration between all stakeholders, from customers to customs to freight forwarders to airports, brokers, airlines, etc. Everybody end to end. So I will not hold here for too long, and I will hand over this back to Arvind. And thank you very much, and welcome to you, dignitaries, once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash. I am also told we have Kevin Bowenji with us and Mudassar Shafiji with us. So welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm sure you'll add to this today. Now I'll request Sanjay Bansalji to say a few words on AEO, but before that I'd like to inform you that Sanjay Bansalji is IRS 1995 batch. He is a BTech, MTech, and has a varied experience in customs and central excise. He has an experience of handling central excise and customs in Kolkata, looking after the anti-smuggling needs, including various equipment required for anti-smuggling operations. In the Directorate of Logistics, handling and managing the passenger clearance at IGI Airport, New Delhi, detention of commercial frauds and narcotics in DGRI, etc. He has also been posted on deputation to Departmental of Chemicals and Petrochemicals and Financial Intelligence Wing of India, that is FIU IND. He has been instrumental in providing policy inputs for promotion of exports in DGEP, and presently has been handling the air cargo export, New Delhi, New Courier Terminal and FPO New Delhi as Commissioner Air Cargo Export. Welcome, sir. We'd like you to say a few words to our audience.
For that kind of introduction which you gave. I'll take you through very briefly about what is the AEO program, what was the logic why we wanted to introduce this AEO program. Though the details about what are the processes, what are the procedures, what are the benefits in detail will be given by my colleagues who will be coming after me. But I'll just take you through the brief process of it. Dignitaries on the dais and distinguished guests, it's a pleasure for me to be here to introduce AEO program to all of you. And I would like to compliment ACFI for organizing this program to share with you what are the benefits if you come forward for the AEO program. As all of you know, AEO program is one of the flagship program of the Government of India. This has been specifically tailored suitably to meet WCO standards also. It has always been an endeavor of the Government of India to come out with a scheme so as to facilitate legitimate trade without any intervention in the form of examination of goods. This is all the more necessary in view of manpower constraints and finding an optimum balance between facilitation and enforcement. Initially, there was an accredited clients program, ACP, which was called. This was launched in 2005, which has now been merged with the new AEO program. This revised AEO program is aimed to achieve both the twin objectives of securing the borders from international trade and at the same time facilitating the legitimate trade. AEO program is a three-tier program for importers and exporters, basically T1, T2, and T3. With each tier, there is a compliance requirements which keep on increasing, and correspondingly, the benefits, tangible benefits which you will get, that will also keep on increasing if you go from T1 to T2, T2 to T3, or you can directly apply for T2 or T3 also. The business entities who offer the highest degree of guarantee in respect of their role in the supply chain, they are accorded the highest degree of customs benefits. But for the logistic operators, there is single tier AEO program, which includes logistics providers, custodians, terminal operators, custom broker, warehouse operators, which is called AEO LO program for us. Most of the benefits which are available to T2 category of importer exporters, they are available to AEO LO category also. Now, what are the benefits of AEO T1, T2, T3? I'll briefly take you through the benefits which are there. AEO T1 holders can expect higher level of facilitation as compared to the normal importer exporter. Quantum of bank guarantees is also reduced to around 50% of the normal importer exporter. Expeditious investigations and dispute resolution mechanisms is also there for AEO. With exemption from regular transactional PCA, only one time in 3 years kind of on-site verification will be done instead of the regular transactional PCA. AEO T2 category, this is what I was talking about, AEO T1 holders who will be getting the benefits. AEO T2 will be getting even more benefits. Not only they will be getting the benefits which are available to AEO T1, but they will be getting major benefits like deferred duty payment. You can plan your finances accordingly. Priority processing of bills of entry or shipping bills, facility of self-sealing, and only 25% of the bank guarantee as compared to the normal importer exporter. AEO T3 is the highest category of AEOs which we have. They can expect benefits other than the T2 benefits also, like non-scanning of the containers. In the containers are not supposed to be scanned unless there is a specific intelligence on a specific container. Acceptance of self-certified copies of documents is also available to AEO T3 holders without even required to show the original documents, and complete exemption from the bank guarantees. Similarly, AEO LO certificate holders in the various categories can have waiver of bank guarantee under various regulations, facility of execution of running bonds, etc. This AEO program has been going on for quite some time now, more than 12 years have already passed, but we have been continuously reviewing this AEO program depending upon the feedback which we have been getting from the various users of the scheme. We have been looking at providing extended benefits to the trade. Initially, AEO T1, T2, T3 and LO certificates were 3 years and 5 years. Then it was felt that there was a problem in renewal of those certificates. You had to go through a lot of compliances. So the government thought about giving a continuous kind of a T1 certificate. So now the certificate is more or less a continuous certificate for T1, but this has to be renewed after giving very basic kind of information. We have introduced the concept of continuous certification or auto renewal with the purpose to reduce compliance burden. This auto renewal is being done on the basis of submission of simple annual declaration which needs to be reviewed by the officers. Only in cases where any change in compliance or adverse input is noticed, then suitable action needs to be taken. Otherwise, whatever annual declaration you give, if you don't get anything adverse against you, so your T1 certificate is automatically renewed. Now, for the benefit of the trade, all the applications for whether you want to apply for T1, T2, T3, everything can be made online now. There are defined timelines within which the government officers, they have to take their decisions, and the applications need to be acted upon either for acceptance or rejection thereof. Now, with a view to, we were finding only the bigger companies, they were coming to us for getting the certification of T1, T2. Then an exercise was undertaken why the MSME, which is the major backbone of industry, why they are not coming forward. Then to reduce the compliance burden for them and to reduce the mitigate the difficulties which are being faced by these MSME. In December 2020, we relaxed the entire gamut of compliance and security requirements for MSMEs. These include relaxed eligibility requirement. Normally, for an AEO T1, you are required to have at least 25 documents. You must have handled 25 documents, either of import or taken together. But for MSME, you have to have only 10 documents against 25 documents. Your business activity for the normal T1, T2, T3 has to be around 3 years. And you have to give me the compliance also, legal compliance also for 3 years. But for MSME, it is only 2 years. Annexures which were required to be given, there are a lot of reduced requirements have been given for MSME. Timeline for processing, like we are already having a very, very tight window before we are supposed to give you the certification or rejection of your application, which is normally 30 days for T1 and 6 months for T2. But for MSME, it is 15 days. It's normally halved. 15 days you are supposed to get your T1 certificate and 3 months for the T2 certificate. And your bank guarantee also has been reduced, like the benefit which you will be getting, bank guarantee instead of 25%, you are supposed to give only 10% of the bank guarantee. Now, AEO program, this is a globally accepted program. This is under the WCO framework of standards. So all the various countries across the globe, they are being part of this AEO. Now, to expand the reach of the AEO program, we thought about whatever the AEO certification which we are doing here, that should be recognized by the counterpart countries where the AEO program is also available. So we have entered into various mutual recognition agreement with the countries so that whatever the benefit, if you are accepted as an AEO there, you don't need to apply to become an AEO in their country. So on the basis of certification here, you will get the same benefits in the countries where your goods are going, or the goods are coming from there, the same benefits which you are getting here, or the entities which have been certified there, the same benefits you are being accorded on the basis of certification in one country. That is the mutual recognition agreement. We have had a lot of agreements with various countries like South Korea we have had, even the US recently we have had, Taiwan we have had, and I think UAE was also there in that. So you can take the benefit of that AEO program, get the certification here, and correspondingly enjoy the benefits of being certified in your abroad countries also. So I would like to again urge all of you to come forward to join this special initiative of CBIC to make the international trade more secure while reaping the benefits of facilitation with reduced dwell time and clearance. Thank you all for coming here and joining me in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Bansal Saab. Very interesting. You spoke about MSME, the expansion plan for AEO, and you urged us to join AEO. Thank you very much. Before I request Madam Simi Jain to please say a few words, I'd like to inform you that she is 1991 batch of Indian Customs and Central Excise. And during her career of 30 years, she has been posted in various capacities in the field formation in the state of Rajasthan. She has worked as Director Legal in the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs at Delhi. As Commissioner of Customs, she has worked at Mumbai and Jaipur. Presently, she is posted as Principal Commissioner of Customs, Air Cargo Complex Imports, Delhi Zone at New Delhi. She has been awarded with the President's Appreciation Certificate for a specially distinguished record of service on the occasion of Republic Day in the year 2009. Fantastic. Ma'am, if we may request you to say a few words, please.
Very good afternoon to all of you. आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. It's been a matter of great pleasure and honor for me to be here, invited by ACFI. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. And in fact, it's a greater pleasure to be here to this quieter part of the air cargo, because we have been generally to that part which is like it's a lot of hustle bustle going on. So quite an impressive area to be. With my colleague, Mr. Sanjay Bansal has also already given you a brief about the AEO scheme, and thank you so much for that, because now I can speak something not related to AEO. At least with your permission, I am slightly deviating from today's topic with Pradeep and with Assar and my colleague, Mr. Kevin here. So definitely they would give you the brief and they will be taking up your questions and all that. My purpose, and I look forward to meeting trade, and this is really a very rare opportunity that I have got since I've joined, because when I joined Air Cargo, it was already COVID time, so we didn't get an opportunity to meet you in this number. So one thing, in plain and simple terms, if I talk about what is an AEO program, I'm not into nitty-gritty of AEO. I just know one thing, that if a person from a trade, importer, exporter, or logistic operator, if they come and meet me, they enter my chamber and they say that, ma'am, we have a problem. It has to be solved immediately. Now, my question is, are you an AEO operator? Since I have a problem and I need an answer to it, I again ask, are you an AEO operator? The answer is, if no, so my body language gets a little relaxed. He is not an AEO operator. It's just a trader. Fine. I listen to your problem. I'll definitely bring out a solution, but I am not feeling guilty about it because you're not an AEO operator, just like any other person. But if the person replies to me that I am an AEO operator, then definitely for me, it's a serious issue. That means somebody who has been recognized by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, that he is an AEO operator, and yet he has a problem, then definitely something is wrong with our way of working. We need to address his grievances or his issues at the earliest. So that is what, for me, in plain and simple terms, that's the impact of somebody having an AEO certification. That the department understands that this is a person whose track record, whose reputation is being certified by the Government of India, and you really need to look into his issues. First of all, they should not be an issue, but if issues are coming up, you need to address them quickly, because an AEO operator is a recognition. It's by the Government of India, and it's a very important recognition. No matter how far we reach in our lives, personal, professional, whatever. And appreciation is very important. Certification that you are a good trader, you are a good importer, you're certified importer or exporter or logistic operator is very, very important. Second is, just try slightly deviating from what is the today's seminar issue is. One thing is, I am seeing, not everybody does it, but I am seeing there is a tendency not to bring the grievances to us directly, but going on social media. There is a culture going on to be on the Twitter, and I don't know whether my trader does it, but yes, once in a while, which is happening very frequently these days, that to have a redressal of the grievance, straight away reach to the Twitter, and for, yes, the purpose is served. I'm not saying that the purpose doesn't get served, because for a day or two, you keep the customs busy with your single grievance. But the point is, somewhere the trust, that bridge badta jata hai. So my point is, I urge all of you that if you have an issue, please feel free to come and meet and discuss and bring forth the issue so that we can understand, we can bring out a solution. But if the solution is by way of this methodology, I believe it actually distances you from the functioning of the organization. So both of us, where are we? What are we doing? We're all basically, we're looking at our country, the welfare of the nation. We are doing the same thing. I am a part of a public service organization. You are also doing the same thing. In fact, we are because you are. We believe in that. You are, and that is why we are here. So we are both working in the same ecosystem. And what is the aim? So that our country flourishes, our country grows. This country gets what is due to them. Especially when we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it is very important that we build the trust. And the trust building is only when we meet, we discuss our issues. Maybe the solution doesn't come out immediately as you aspire to. But yes, there will be some movement. We'll take your issues forward to the board wherever it is relevant that the solutions come. But I always believe that this way of interacting, individual officer coming and interacting is very, very important. So keep that communication going on. And communication, if it is in a positive manner, if it's not fault finding, it's definitely build a lot of understanding and a trust, which is very important in any ecosystem for that matter. So here meeting so many of you, it's a pleasure, a great pleasure. And I really say, because coming back to the point of the AEO, when our report comes, we have annual reports which says that which port is doing better, or we have this national timeliness study. So one thing is, I am happy to inform you that Delhi Air Cargo has the least dwell time in the country for that matter. But one factor which is slightly impacting our performance is lesser number of AUs operating at Delhi Air Cargo. Because lesser number of AU means definitely the clearance time would be slightly higher. They would not be getting the system-based facilitation of their bills of entry. So I would request, and this initiative taken by Pradeep last year, and now that he is representing the board from the International Customs Division, taking up as a panelist over here. He took that initiative last year, and we had many MO in fact applying for it. But I was told by my officer that verifications could not take place, or some of the deficiencies could not be removed. So the point is, if you are applying for the AU status, it's going to improve the functioning of the customs here at this port. So that's very important. And yes, I would request you to really go through the various benefits which you can get out of the scheme. And yes, when you flourish, we also, the customs revenue definitely, and our country, because after all, to have the welfare of the nation, each and every citizen, we need more and more revenue, what is due to the government of India. And you're doing a great service to the nation. I thank you all for this, and thank you for inviting me over here. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
you, Madam Simijan. You're absolutely correct. We're working in the same ecosystem and we're working for the nation. Absolutely. And you also mentioned the benefits of AEO. And I wonder the next AEO guy who comes to you will think twice now. So, yes. I think it's about time we started our panel discussion. I'd like to introduce our moderator so that he could introduce his panelists. The moderator for today is Rajiv Khanna. He is the country head express and commercial Gina and Company. Rajiv. And he has been the director with Hellman, Pax Global, Sunrise. And he has been engaged in the undergraduate teaching and research in economics since he is a MA Honors and MPhil in economics from Premier Institutes. He has contributing a lot to ACFI and ACFI. Rajiv, the floor is yours, and I'm sure we're going to have one of the best sessions ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. It's a pleasure to be here, and my greetings to Mrs. Simijan, Mr. Bansal, Mr. Pradeep, Mr. Kevin, Mr. Mudassar. Thanks for being here. And before we start, I would like to introduce our distinguished panelists. First of all, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Rohila. We couldn't have got a better person than him to talk on this issue. He is an IRS 2015 batch and highly educated, MSc Maths, MPhil and PhD. Besides his academic distinguished achievements, he's shown interest in gaining knowledge in various other aspects. For instance, he's worked on challenges of global poverty, course on coordinated border management by WCO, course on the WCO Safe Framework of Standards, which is the backbone of the AEO program, and also the Finance Intelligence and Investigations by IIM Bangalore. Trade-based money laundering, which is also a very critical matter to be dealt with by customs these days, and workshop on Foreign Exchange Management Act and Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and webinar on intellectual property rights. So a wide range of interests that he has, and currently, naturally, he is involved with the AEO program. Currently, he is posted as Deputy Commissioner, Directorate of International Customs, New Delhi, and he's also a member of World Bank Trade Facilitation Program for AEO. He's had many awards under his belt. WCO Certificate of Merit on International Customs Day on 2022, awarded Certificate of Appreciation for ensuring 24/7 customs clearance during second wave of COVID pandemic, Certificate of Appreciation on GST Day, and Certificate of Appreciation by Principal Chief Commissioner, Delhi Zone 2019. Certificate of Commendation by ADG for Successful Nation Foundation Day. So he's got various awards, various qualifications under his belt, and he is very passionate about this AEO program. I'm sure we will get a lot of educative information from him today. Please join us on the dais. Our second panelist is Mr. Blaise D'Souza from Ingram Micro India Private Limited. He has had a wide range of experience of industries like heavy engineering, electronics, pharma, office automation, and information technology in setting up their supply chains, bringing compliances, etc., etc., etc. Before I talk more about him, he says that he is not shy of escalating when things are not working. He says he doesn't believe in any hindrance or any obstacle. He would go to any length to get all the hindrances and obstacles out of the way, so long as his requirements are legitimate. In heavy engineering, in the public sector with Richardson and Crudas, in electronics with Philips India, in pharma with Burroughs Wellcome, in office automation and IT with Godrej Pacific, in information technology and telecommunication with Ingram Micro. That has been his experience, and Ingram Micro is where he is currently engaged with. Ingram Micro has had lots of distinctions under his leadership. It is currently involved in activities across 16 ports, airports and CFSs. Ingram Micro was one of the importers that Directorate of International Customs, CBIC, showcased for their systems, processes and warehouse operations to the US CTPAT team that visited India as part of the MRA validation and audit process. We can imagine how important that event must have been. Our largest trade partner, US, was convinced for signing an MRA showcasing their functioning. Ingram Micro was also instrumental in getting DPD facilitation. You all must have heard of DPD facilitation from the seaports, but they were also instrumental in getting DPD facilitation for air cargo at airports of Delhi, Chennai and Mumbai. I'm not sure many of you would have heard or not, but DPD facilitation is possible out of the airports also. Anybody who wants to avail and does not know can take his consultancy. So Ingram Micro over the years from the Ministry of Finance have been recipient of Saman Patra from Customs in the year 2000, Certificate of Appreciation in 2017, and Certification of Appreciation from GST Department in 2022. Now something that they are very proud of, not a good news for LOs. Given the facilitation under AEO program, Ingram Micro now does self-clearance at airports of Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. The scale at which they are doing the self-clearance is immense. So one can understand somebody doing self-clearance for at a very small scale, but considering that they are operating on 16 ports and huge volumes of imports and exports, and they are doing all that self-clearance. Kudos to them. Please join us. So we have from the Department of International Customs, we have somebody from the industry, and the panel would be incomplete if we don't have anybody from the LOs. And we have Mr. Arun Kumar, Managing Director in Synergy Supply Chain Solutions Private Limited. Mr. Arun was born in a very picturesque, scenic and serene place called Nainital in the current state of Uttarakhand. So I'm sure you would see the serenity in his conduct also. And he had his initial education in Nainital and Bangalore, and he did his graduation with economics and followed it up with post-graduation in business administration with specialization in marketing. Mr. Arun started his career as an entrepreneur in manufacturing. It is this 6 years which he considered to be the most enlightening phase of his life. Mr. Arun entered the domain of logistics and international supply chain in the year of 2001 and restarted his journey moving to New Delhi with a new firm called M Express Worldwide Logistics, which was a customs broker firm. Very soon he took a liking to the business and worked his way up the ladder with his hard work, innovative ideas and entrepreneurial abilities. Then he co-founded In Synergy Supply Chain Solutions, the company which he heads now, in year 2010. The company soon acquired various trade licenses and under his able leadership became a company with high repute. The company is a licensed custom broker and well-recognized freight forwarder with ISO 9001 and AEO certification. The company as of present has pan-India presence with over 110 employees. Company is completely IT integrated and has near paperless operations. All its processes are well-defined and IT enabled. He is passionate about the trade and more so about the country, and with an objective to pay his dues to the country, he has been contributing his knowledge and time significantly to trade bodies. He got this opportunity with Air Cargo Forum of India and the apex body in air cargo domain, appointing him as chairman of the Innovation Committee and Process Simplification Committee. Subsequently, he was also appointed on the board of ACFI in 2016. His passion for the trade and his ability to deliver was recognized in another association on the ocean side, the Association for Multimodal Transport Operators of India, which is popularly known as MTOI, appointed him as a convener of Northern Regional Chapter in 2018. In 2020, he was co-opted to the Executive Committee of MTOI and was appointed as Honorary Treasurer, and now presently serves as MTOI's Honorary Secretary. He is also an active participant in all other trade bodies and is known for his polite and yet assertive voice in the industry. Mr. Arun is the person who has strong conviction in the greatness of this nation and hold a belief that he can and will make a difference to the life of the people in this great country in whatever way possible. Please join us. So the format of this panel discussion is going to be that we will have a presentation from Dr. Pradeep first, giving a detailed view of how this AEO program works, what all they do, etc., etc. Though we've heard a lot already from Mr. Bansal, but I'm sure that there will be much more that will be coming from his presentation. Thereafter, we would have some experiences from the industry and the LOs, and maybe question answers after that, right? So please join us. And panelists, if for easy looking at for the ease of looking at the presentation for some time, if you want, you can see it there. And yes, yeah, please.
Yeah. Working. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I presented that seminar. So, good afternoon to everyone, and I think lights may be on. These two also better view. Can we have a quick survey? How many of them, of all present here, are belonging to AEO fraternity? Means the firm you are associated is an AEO client. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 out of 62. Roughly, you can say below 20%. And the scenario may be similar to for online, you can say audience or visitors also. The point is, AEO program being roughly in 6 to 7 years old program in its present avatar. But all over world, the custom administrations are facilitating in one or another way. What if I may explain AEO in 3 words, that it is the program of trust but verify. Trust but verify. Means sometimes you have to ensure what kind of business entities are part of your program. Whenever you have certain compliant, custom procedures are efficient, these kind of entities are part of your program, then to maintain the sanctity of that program, you have to be regularly ensure that just a compliant business entity enter into your program. Whenever I go for outreach or any other, you can say, awareness program or interactive program, then one of the basic benefits that people ask me, what are the benefits? Then I sometimes say, yeah, you got the tangible benefits also and intangible benefit. And I got a very relevant example today by Principal Commissioner ma'am. Whenever anybody enters and then she asks first question, and it is true because it has happened in front of me also while working as DC Shed subordinate to ma'am. Ma'am always asked, are you AEO client?
And this is what is an intangible benefit. We are generally saying that AEO is an internationally recognized quality mark. The objective of this program is to give that quality mark to ensure that your custom procedures are efficient, because we are working on two aspects. One aspect is security and second aspect is facilitation. And security comes first. Let me tell you very clearly, we want secure trade, because that is the essence of any flourishing country. If your trade is secure, then you can think of it facilitation. Otherwise, your facilitation will come to the wrong hands and you will be in a big fix. What my agenda for today's interaction will be the detailed description about processes of this application, because much have been told about the overall scenario of AEO program. We will discuss what are the legal compliances, what are the financial solvency issues, what are the SCN related queries, and what are the core benefits that may be difficult to understand when you go through the circular and other documents, you can say. So let us start. I think this is, who is handling this? Yeah. So agenda, what I have decided was the overview of AEO program that has been already covered by Commissioner Sir. Eligibility and compliance criteria, will be having a very quick view of this, because I want a more and more of interactive section, and any slide that is very important, then I will request you to please, you can say, pay some attention away from the mobile. If you are recording this, this is already available on YouTube, so there will be no issue. This will be shared. This already has been shared to ACFI, and I request ACFI to please share these to every community, so that people don't bother to take screenshot also. Then we will have a short description of AEO MRA and process for AEO T1 application, because we are working on three aspects on AEO program. One is simplification, second is rationalization, and third one is digitalization. And AEO T1 has crossed all these steps, so we will have a quick view on that. Online filing of AEO T2, T3 application, and launch of version 2.0 of AEO web portal, changes and development thereon, special measures to facilitate MSME for AEO T1 and T2 accreditation, and how the auto renewal helped in COVID era, and the facilitation is still on. I think there is some issue with this. Okay. Simply, as Dignity on Dice also told, this is a voluntary trade facilitation program with the aim to enhance international supply chain security and facilitate movement of goods. These are the twin challenges for every custom administration all over the world. We have three tier, AEO, tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. There may be some very basic information that I am going very fast. If any one of you have some query, or because here in this, you can say at this place, people may be aware of, but those who are online joined with us, then they must know the complete essence of this program. AEO tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3, these are for importer and exporter, and for LO, logistic operator, for all other supply chain we have this category, AEO LO. Augmentation of AEO and MRA program is part of National Trade Facilitation Action Plan, which is monitored at the level of Cabinet Secretary, the high apex body of, you can say, Government of India. And this is the number 4489 and 204. This was on 1st of August, and we are on 2nd September. This month we have accredited 204 more clients. So you may add this number. Yeah, overview of this program is implementation. We do the implementation as DIC. We ensure the process, approve and management AEO accreditation program. We assist the field formation, because whenever there is a general transfer, we get the new AEO cell and there may be some interpretational issues, and you can say, and hand holding is required for custom officers also. So we do outreach for field formations also, webinar, seminar also, coordinate with different line vertical of CBIC for policy making and all, issue directive and guidance not to field formation for implementing these various circulars of AEO program. Policy related work is also handled by DIC somewhere. Inputs to CBIC, circular and guidelines are issued by DIC, and recent inclusion of MSME, that was a part of this work. We basically want ease of doing business initiative. Therefore, we facilitate our AEO program by various innovative methods, as I mentioned earlier, rationalization, digitization and simplification also. Capacity building is a part of this program, where we are off kar sakte hain aap in dono. Yeah. Eligibility, any legal entity that is established in India should be involved in custom related activity, should have dealt in business at least for 3 financial years, and for MSME it has been relaxed. It is for 2 years, should have dealt with 25 customs document. For MSME it is 10 document in a year, and there is a catch. In first half minimum 5 document, in second half again 5 document. Compliance requirement, we have legal compliance, commercial record and management compliance, financial solvency. We will discuss these 3 in detail. Security is a big concern for AEO clients or for the custom administration. Premise security, cargo security, conveyance security, personal security, business partner security, and security training and threat awareness program inculcate in their business development by the entity. Now, this is very simple. Tier 1, we do the desk-based review only. There is no physical site verification. And for all other categories T2, T3 and LO, we do the on-site verification also. Now, this is the important slide. Those who are on phone may please pay attention to this. This is the master circular which governs India's AEO program. Circular number 33 by 2016, 22nd July 2016. This circular is the master circular dealing with all the eligibility, benefits, processes, suspension, revocation, cancellation, all the benefits, complete things are emphasized in this master circular. Whatever simplification and other developments are there, those are being amended on the basis of this master circular. This one number that everybody should know, 33 by 2016, this is a reference number. Whenever you go stuck somewhere, this circular will be guiding you. Legal compliance. One of the major issue in processing of the AEO application, which is the major factor for getting delayed of processes of this AEO application, is the legal compliance. For legal compliance, we have section 3.2 and it has subpart. Section 3.2.1 says there should be no show cause notice on the basis of fraud, forgery, outright smuggling, clandestine removal, service tax collected but not deposited to the government. 3.2.1, there should be no show cause notice during the last 3 financial year. For MSME, again, the relaxation is of 2 financial year. 3.2.1 deals with show cause notice. 3.2.2 deals with prosecution. No case where prosecution has been launched or being contemplated against the applicant or its senior management. 3.2.3, See, in 3.2.1, we deals with 5 issues: fraud, forgery, this outright smuggling, and clandestine removal, and service tax collected but not paid. Other than these 5 issues, if there are some show cause notice issued and the ratio of the duty demanded in those SCN other than 3.2.1, if that is 10% of the total duty deposit, more than 10% of the duty deposit, then DIC will take a review, the AEO journal team will take a review, and then the process will be final. It is very simple. I just want to have your attention on legal compliance. 3.2.1 is the show cause notice on 5 parameters. 3.2.2 is the prosecution. 3.2.3, other than these 5 areas, if you have show cause notice, then the ratio of duty demand, if that is greater than 10% of the total duty deposit, then the application will be reviewed. 3.2.4, and there is one explanation on that. If some notice is issued and if it is adjudicated in applicant's favor, then it will not be a part of 3.2.1. 3.2.4 discuss about the procedure in place to rectify any error, to disclose any irregularity to the custom authorities, and subpart 2 will take appropriate action for any irregularity. And last, 3.2.5, you must have some procedure in place so that these mistakes don't happen. Means AEO program is not that kind of strict program that we are there to identify the mistakes and we don't want to inculcate in your business entity in our program. Rather, it is a hand-holding program. You will see while applying for this that there are certain aspects. If you follow these wholeheartedly in letter in spirit, then you will see that your business compliance will be very, very good, and that is very essential for your business development also. So this was the legal compliance. If there is any question on legal compliance, you may ask now also, or whenever we will discuss, that can be taken up. Next is a financial solvency. If I may say, what are the 2 important aspects of AEO program? So these are the 2. One is legal compliance and second is financial solvency. 3.2 deals with legal compliance, 3.4 deals with financial solvency. An applicant must be financially solvent during the 3 financial year. Again, for MSME, it is relaxed for 2 years. Should not have defaulted in payment of custom duty. Applicant applying for AEO T1 and T2 status has to submit a solvency certificate either by statutory auditor or by chartered accountant. For T3 and LO, must submit a solvency certificate from statutory auditor. For the purpose of ascertaining financial solvency, the custom officer shall evaluate that there is a positive net current asset and net worth of the applicant. This is a very beautiful table covering all the benefits associated with T1, T2, T3, and for LO we have a different slide. One important thing that I want to mention about the benefits, whenever you are reading the circular, there are lots of benefits. Some are very easily available to you, and some are, you can say, are yet to be given. Because when we develop this circular, we say this will be the scope of these benefits. That's we are regularly upgrading our services, and some of the benefits that are not directly available to you, sometimes in outreach program, our circular says that ID should be given to AEO clients so that have an easy access to, but there are some feasibility issues in various ports. Who we can allow to enter, what are the security issues and all. Therefore, those benefits are under the scope of this broad thing. But as far as high facilitation is covered, it is available to all 3, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And one important thing to note here is high facilitation doesn't mean that we are getting a blanket approval for RMS facilitation, because in an ideal system it should not be available. If you are saying that 100% it will be RMS facilitated, then you are compromising with your security. Therefore, no doubt AEO clients are given the facilitation, but at random points, random check, the system allows us to have that examination also, so that the facilitation that we are giving, that are also justified. DPD, where the seaport, as it has been already mentioned, bank guarantee 50% is available for tier 1. This is a very self-explanatory table, and sometimes the major benefit, you can say deferred duty payment, which is available to tier T2 and T3. There were some issues in getting deferred duty payment, and recently on most probably 1 week back, we have issued a SOP for addressing the issue of deferred duty payment. So any of your client, if having any issue with deferred duty payment, sometimes it get deactivated. There is a complete SOP. That SOP has been shared with CRM, Client Relationship Manager. You please approach to them and they will address that issue. If the issue still pertains, you are most welcome to write to us as DIC. CRM, regarding CRM, I just want to tell, complete India is divided into 21 zone, having DIC as a zone also, and 20 different zone all over India. And out of those 20 zones, we have different commissionates, and every commissionates or 1 or 2 commissionates have one CRM based on the number of import documents, import export documents, custom documents, and LO fraternity present there. We have designated one assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner level rank officer as client relationship manager. You please talk to him, you please reach out to him. He will definitely address your issues, and sometimes if he is unable to address that issue, he will directly have a contact with the DIC, and DIC will get back to you. MRA benefits, again, as Commissioner Sir has also told, ki mutual recognition agreement. I will discuss this in detail, ki how these benefits are, you can say, taken. Suppose we have recently signed MRA with USA, and you are importing some goods from USA, then you have to mention that exporter detail with the DIC. Then DIC has a list from the US Customs who all are the AEO clients for their program. For example, we are in process with Australian trade facilitation program, trusted trade partner program. If one MRA is getting signed, then Australia will share the list of their AEO. If your exporter is a part of that list, means you are not, you can say anybody cannot be told, yes, he is the AEO client. We got a list from US Customs, then that we match that list, your requisition that the exporter is from that list and the exporter is an AEO client, that is matched, and one OBIN number, Overseas Business Identification Number, is issued to that exporter by the DIC, and then that OBIN number is linked with IEC, your IC, and your IC will get facilitated. Yeah. This was the MRA. This was in way back in 2016 ki when you have to be very every each and now then where is my consignment and all these information, when is your system consignment is arriving, you already have that information. This is a table for this logistic operator and logistic service operator, custodian, custom brokers. Earlier that was significant when AEO and you can say extended validity was there, but now because it is perpetual, then there are some benefits, but main benefit is of that quality mark that we are saying that, and T3 which are compressing you to get AEO. MRA I have discussed. Procedure for T1 applications, and this process of the AEO T1 application, I'll quickly go through. First, you have to get registered. That registration will be verified by custom officer, rank of superintendent, and you will get the registration detail. IC and mobile number are matched, you will get registered, and then annexure 1 and annexure 2, that filing and submission of those annexures. Post verification of registration details by the superintendent, the field application to go to the dashboard of the nodal officer. Nodal officer then forward to the superintendent. Superintendent will process the application and put up to DC, ACDC of your zone or where you have filed T1 application, and that zonal application will directly move to the zonal commissioner, and that is the final authority for T1. For example, for Delhi, Sanjay Bansal sir is the nodal officer for this, and once he has approved, he directly application will move to the DIC for certificate generation process. DIC has nothing to do with that application except certificate generation. Online filing, and one main point is for this T1, this whole application is online. Complete application is online, uploading of the documents and processing of the document, and you will get each and every step in your This is the flow chart: submission, registration, and real-time monitoring of the applicant. We have started T2, T3 also for web tracking, in web tracking mode, because complete online process is not there, but you can track your applications. The registration process is same. Again, the annexures and all will be processed in the similar way. This again, the timelines, 30 days for this AEO program team to go to the dashboard of superintendent, and once the dashboard application is received to the CRM, then within 90 days he has to complete the physical verification, and completing the physical verification, next 60 days he has to send to DIC, and next 30 days the certificate generation will be over. The certification validity, these are some trivial information that can be easily accessed. AEO T1 and T2 for 3 years, and 5 years for AEO T3 and LO applications. Auto renewal has started for T1. For T2, T3, the process will again same. Maintenance, if you change your legal entity, business name or address, nature of business, accounting and computer systems, in that case, changes include maybe ascertained by the AEO program team. AEO status holder shall notify the AEO program team as soon as the change is known. Suppose you are adding 1 unit extra, then you have to intimate the AEO program team within 14 days, preferably. If the legal entity change, AEO status holder will inform, and the certificate will be issued in the new legal entity. No new process will be there. Client relationship manager will be the nodal point for your communication. Recent changes, we have some measures for MSME. We have discussed this. T2, T3 filing application is online, has been done, and on web portal you can track that application. Auto renewal has happened. We have created 3 new AEO zones, Delhi Preventive, Meerut and Guwahati. AEO accreditation to EOU entities also in place, and there is an advisory issued on suspension and restoration of deferred duty payment, which I was describing, 22nd of August. Deletion of application separate from deletion of registration. Earlier, if there is issue, the complete application was registered, deleted. But now only the application may be deleted, registration will remain the same. There is deficiency on portal for applicants. We have started this, and in rare cases, we have allowed zone migration also. This is the T1 self-declaration deadline. I would request everyone, if T1 clients are there, then they have to file an annual self-declaration, which will be reviewed by the zonal team, and the certificate will be renewed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, for such a detailed presentation on various aspects associated with the AEO program. I'm sure there will be lots of questions that will be coming as we go through, and we would have an opportunity to hear from the real-time experiences and the suggestions from people from industry, Mr. Blaze and Mr. Arun. To start with, one of the concerns, we've heard the details about how the program works, etc. And before we start, I heard a very interesting expression from him that AEO is both for facilitation and security. That reminded me of a classic example of evolution of cars. The cars that used to drive at the speed of 20, 30 in their initial stage now drive at 200, 300 miles per hour. This means facilitation. What has enabled this facilitation? One is for sure the better engines, but I'm sure better engines alone won't have helped improve the speed of the cars. It's the security measures, better brakes, your airbags, and various other kinds of mechanisms to prevent injury from Without that, you couldn't have attained that speed until you were sure that the security measures are in place. That's exactly what AEO program is about. That once we put the security measures in place, then we can move very fast. So that was the essence of the whole program. Anyway, coming back to it, one of the concerns that I hear from the trade and other fraternity is that it's a very time-consuming process. What is your experience? What is the average time taken for clearing? And currently, initially it was very fast, I remember, in the initial days in 2016, 17, etc. What is the current situation of time it takes for clearing an allo? T1. T1 is online, I think it gets done very quickly, but T2 and T3, which requires on-site inspection. So how does it go, and what is our experience of what is the total time taken from the time of application till final delivery of their AEO certificate?
Very relevant also.
These are the
Yes. Better. Am I audible? Regarding timeline, definitely it is very relevant and very, what you can say is very important question for applicant point of view. But as we discussed during the presentation, that security is the major concern for us for AEO program. Although the timelines are divided in such a way that we get enough time. Like for T1, we have 30 days. And that is on the portal itself. Therefore, everybody knows where is my application and at what level it is pending. Not only the entity or the MIS reports also that give the description which are the applications which are in the red zone over 30 days. For T2 and T3 and LO applications, we have 6 months time. For MSME, definitely it has been reduced, half of that time. And that time also divided, as I mentioned in the presentation also. But sometimes in real situations, what we are focusing that in Delhi, we are getting huge number of applications. Like I was discussing in one of the webinar that we took an initiative to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and we were having an idea that we invite 75 applications, and in that way we will celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And thanks to you all, we got 82 applications at that point of time. And, and you can imagine one AEO cell is, you can say, processing all these applications. You have to visit 82 odd places. Those places may be nearby in NCR also. And we have got only 90 days for that verification. In some cases, when we send the email, and this is not the case in AEO that we decided it. No, the date of physical verification is decided by the mutual consent for both customs as well as the business entity. So last year we had some issues that entity say that we are completely online, or we are not allowing anybody else, or please get your AEO cell COVID test positive and COVID tested, then we will allow them to make on-site verification. But definitely we are moving ahead. We are also thinking on virtual kind of hybrid, you can say, mode, that we are having this webinar. We are thinking that if we can have that verification on video basis or virtual basis, or what are the global best practices there. But any point of time, my sincere request is, you, after application, please contact your CRM. Where is your application? Sometimes we email you. Your point of contact is at the first instance we take at the registration level, but the response is very poor in some cases. We categorically tell ki this is the site plan which is missing in your application. Again, that site plan is not uploaded. These are the real scene which we are telling that you have to give all sites plan. What are the business entities you are operating? We need to verify only one, but we need site plan of all. So these are certain issues that trade also has to understand, that you have to reply, or you have to be, you can say, very communicative to the department or the CRM, because CRM specifically is designed for this. That is the common contact.
With permission, can I ask a follow-up question on this?
Yes, sure. Yes, please.
Okay, so this is also for the new applications.
Yeah.
My concern again now, because renewals have started coming up, what happens in the case of renewal? Now the challenge there is a bit different, in the sense that suppose I have a AEO certification which is lapsing on a particular date, and my renewal application is not processed by that date. What happens to the interim period between the lapse of my current AEO and issuance of the new or the renewal? So that is one. And secondly, I was informed by one of the officers of customs, in fact, that AEO renewal is not there. A new certificate with new number will be issued. So can you just clarify on these two things?
Yes. So first point is, let us suppose you apply for AEO certificate which was of 3 years validity, and today is the last day. Then in the circular we mentioned that you apply 90 days ahead for your renewal, because our renewal process are again not that stringent, because we have already certified you and we just verify the changes. Or again, because if you are T1, then there is just auto renewal, there is no issue. If you are T2 and T3, then you are going to have the benefits of MRA. That's a different thing when you will export or import with those countries with which India has signed the MRA, but you are eligible for availing the MRA benefits. Therefore, to maintain a program compatibility with the global best practices and WCO safe framework of standards, we have to do the whole process again. But again, that quality mark will again go that you are already an AEO client. Having said that, your question of that interim period, our AEO program is based on a single number, that is AEO registration number. If you are an AEO registered on a particular day, you are eligible for benefit. If you are saying the no, I was having AEO certificate on 2nd of September. Somehow due to COVID condition or whatever conditions are, I couldn't apply in time my renewal application, I couldn't submit, then your benefits will be stopped then. Number two, getting an AEO new registration number. It is why it is so. Our registration number includes year of certification. Like it will have your PAN number and then year of certification. Means you are getting 22, then you are getting 25, then 25 will be a part of your number. That is an internal, you can say, structure designed by our system. So that's why there is no issue in having a different registration number, because on the same day we link the registration number to RMS facilitation. This was.
Sir, just to add to this, there is a small challenge. Particularly, I'm representing the logistics community, and this is in relation to the logistics community. There is a small challenge if there is an interim period wherein we are not certified, number one, and secondly, if the number changes. I'll tell you how. Now, for example, most of the logistics service providers who are operating in sea are required to register under SCMTR.
Yes.
Now, in SCMTR, we get the benefit of not submitting a bank guarantee basis the AEO certification. Yeah. So we have already linked our AEO on the SCMTR portal. Now, if there is, suppose we have applied and the AEO certificate has not been issued, a fresh AEO certificate has not been issued, so there is an interim period, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, I don't know. I mean, that depends on when the certificate is issued. That period becomes a period where we are non-compliant by virtue of not having a AEO certification and yet not having given the bank guarantee. Second part of it is when the number changes, the number which is linked at the SCMTR is a different number. So we have no provision of relinking the number. So if there is no continuity, that becomes a bit of a challenge, particularly from the logistics community perspective. That is what I wanted to come.
That's a good suggestion. I would like to have some minutes on this to request ACFI guys to please give this in.
Sir, I told you before, we don't let you go without any suggestions. We'll give you a bunch of suggestions.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes. Yeah,
this is a very valid point, because our criteria, I told you, because we got that number of, so that having said this number, we came to know, oh, this is an entity since 2019. But if having this issue, I will take up this matter with system, definitely. And this is a very valid issue that if possible, we can have the number same throughout. I was surprised it is not linked with IC, right?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Thank you, Arun, for bringing out this such a pertinent question. And if it gets solved, today's meeting is absolutely useful. So now going forward, now I would like to ask. This was a question to Dr. Pradeep about the timelines, etc. I would like to understand the experience from the trade from Mr. Blaise D'Souza. What has been your experience of making preparation for getting the certification, AEO certification? And also, we've seen most of the people are T1. There are very few T2 and T3 are extremely few, very few. So what is it that you would recommend to the trade? What kind of certification they should aim at? And what is the preparatory experience of yours and getting the certification? Very briefly, maybe not too long.
First of all, let me thank ACFI for inviting me over here. While we may be headquartered in Mumbai, but we have a lot of activity at this port in Delhi. And that's what brings us here. Let me first compliment all those who are certified AEOs, because it is this community which has said, I want to be compliant. My systems are open for your checking. I can be audited at any time. You can walk into my factory or my warehouse and inspect my facility. That's the level of commitment that these 4,500 plus organizations are making. And these organizations see a lot of value in it. Moving to the question you raised, if you look at the notification 33, it asks you to give 10 annexures. A, B, C, D, E, F, and E is divided into 5 parts, if I'm not wrong. So it's a lot of information. But let me tell you that when you put it together, you just realize that it's so good for your organization. Something which you have in any case been doing just gets documented. Your security guard always entered into your entry register. Maybe it's now gone digital and therefore he updates on his system at the gate. Before opening, we would always check the seal. We always had to comply with legal compliance in the sense that you have a show cause notice, you have it. I think you can't live without it. If somebody doesn't have one, it's not there. But the department made a very good change from the earlier ACP to the AEO, and they only talked about frauds. Earlier, all SCNs were coming in that category and it was a problem. So there's a large list, and I think that's, and you sit down doing it, realize that you've created, if you didn't have one, you'd create a process around it. If you have one, you've just shared the document. They have never asked me, and we have done T1, we have done T1 to T2, and we have done a T2 renewal. Okay, so we have gone to the phase. As was said earlier, T1 was a cakewalk. T2 was also a cakewalk. At that time, the mindset was very different. But renewal was a challenge. It happened, it was to happen just before the COVID times. There was a general extension given, and it was given more than a year, if you see, totally before the date actually expired. But we did not get our certificate before it expired. On the day the switch went off, we lost our facilitations. And that's the time, as he said earlier, I did not hesitate to reach out to the bosses at now the DIC office. And believe me, I sat there in the office, and there was a call which went to the Nhava Sheva Customs. And before even we could come out from there and get into my cab to head for airport, I got a call from my guy in office saying that, sir, I got a call from Nhava Sheva AEO cell, and they're calling me tomorrow. So the intent is extremely good. A little work is required. Please do that. The gains are very large, and the gains are not to be measured in terms of a transaction. The gains are to be measured over a period of time, over A to Z, everything. With that, I'll leave it here, Rajiv.
Very well put, Mr. Reyes. What I take from it is that the gains are long term, the pain is short term, and even the pain also, not only it means just the documenting of what you're already doing, but while documenting, you may also discover certain deficiencies which are not risks just for customs, it's risk for your own organization. So the whole process of going through the processes and documenting them in order to be compliant also enables you to be more secured. That's fantastic. And also you mentioned that the pain may be temporary, but the gain is long term, not only in terms of getting an accreditation, but becoming more organized and becoming more reputed and becoming more acceptable, not only to the customs, but to the rest of the world also. Arun, the benefits and the preparatory work is a little different for LOs. Now I can understand from Mr. Blaze's point of view that the benefits far outweigh the pain. Do you see the same thing for LOs also, particularly brokers and forwarders?
I don't know if I said yes. But to be honest, when we initially got into this getting the AEO certification, in fact, I was sharing with you, as ACFI, we have been involved in the process of AEO before the particular circular 33/16 came out. And we had given a lot of suggestions based on the best practices worldwide, which included doing deferment, which has been included in the circular. And immediately after that, when the circular came out, I felt obligated to do it because we had done so much work on it. And trust me, it was a fantastic experience because you're right. It's not just about what is required by the customs. While doing this entire process, we realized that we had so many gaps which were just also harming our own company. There were so many places which we could identify because while we were doing this, we realized let's get it done from an outsider. From an insider point of view, we always try to, we have a different view. So we appointed a ISO company and said, please audit our process. And they did the audit and they gave us a report. And we were surprised that there were so many gaps. So it was fantastic experience for us as a company. Doing the AEO, maybe whatever benefit we got from the customs was basically the extension of license. Our license was valued more than that actually. So we didn't utilize that benefit. And subsequently now it's perpetual, so that's not the benefit world. SCMTR, yes, we didn't have to give bank guarantee because that is exempted. But otherwise, I would strongly recommend, and I'm a very strong promoter of AEO program, and I would strongly recommend that all of us should go in for AEO. It is very cumbersome in the initial phase where you are auditing yourself, where you are preparing for this, but in long term, it is going to be very, very beneficial. So definitely, I mean, I hope that answers.
Yeah, so that, yes, it's equally beneficial for LOs also, though I thought considering that LO, particularly for brokers, the license has become perpetual and there are not many benefits, maybe LOs may feel a little disappointed. But the point is, once you get an AEO, once you are accredited, then it's not just the customs facilitation, the facilitation all around happens just by the quality mark that you get. So now coming back to Dr. Pradeep, we saw different kinds of facilitation, T1, T2, T3, where large number of AEO certified people are in T1, and then comes T2, and then T3 are very few. What could be the explanation? Is it that the facilitation, the kind of top line facilitation we saw for faster clearances and etc., they are available to everybody, so everybody is only interested in that. So they are satisfied with T1 accreditation. Or what would be your recommendation? And what kind of benefits people will get when they get accreditation for T2 and T3 also, which they are missing out as T1?
Since in the presentation also I mentioned that the level of facilitation is directly proportional to the level of compliances. No doubt T1, getting a T1 is being a desk-based review, and time limits are given to the custom officers also, EU cells also are very limited. Therefore, fast track applications are there. Because of non-presence of on-site physical verification, it seems to be very attractive. But as Mr. Blade said that, and Arun also appreciated that fact that going upward, we will be getting more and more benefits. And again, this is what, in case of suppose you are saying I'm 3-star exporter, I'm 4-star exporter. That's why this is the level. And whenever we are discussing that global recognition kind of thing, being AEO is one aspect, and having T2 and T3 means the eligibility for MRA. That's an extra benefits. Being India being at the you can say at a you can say we are having at a level that more and more countries are interested in getting MRA to India, and we are very opening to them, welcoming to them. So having a number increase in MRAs, definitely T2 and T3 will be more beneficial. Correct. And being T3 client will give that recognition which I am asking, which I am telling more and more in front of you, because sometimes when trade associations or forum like ACFI and you yourself are telling that although the benefits are limited, please don't compare the tangible and intangible benefit, the goodwill that you created by virtue of being AEO, an accredited client and secure client and reliable trade partner, that is invaluable.
That's exactly my point, that invaluable quality mark comes to you even as a T1, because everybody sees you are an AEO. So that quality mark is assured whether you are T1, T2, T3, nobody goes into whether you are T1, T2, T3, it is the facilitation. The three important facilitations which are not available to T1 are deferred duty payment, MRA, waiver of seal verification is a minor point, and refund rebate and faster track is also faster track of drawback. These are three very critical day-to-day facilitations. What is our track on deferred duty payment? Are companies availing that benefit?
Fantastically. Even that's why we need to get that SOP, because when we were, I was in the field and AEO, and we were getting different type of complaints that on 15th I filed my bill of entry and it was stuck in somewhere in the system, and on 17th I made the payment, but my system reflected that I have defaulted the duty, and now my facilitation are stopped. Even one particular case was for Indian Defence, and when that facilitation was stopped because of some incident happens, and chief was no more, and that at that point of time we came to know what kind of this facility is and how much significant this facility has. The point is, deferred duty payment allows you to make your finances according to your plan, and whenever there is a default in that duty because of some technical issues, some notification changes and system stop, but our system take 1 to 15, 16th of that, 16th to 30, you 31st or 1st of, in case of 31st March, you have to pay on 31st March. If that deferred duty payment is deactivated, we got lots of messages, communication calls, complaints, etc. That's why I'm not having that figure how many AEO clients are taking this facility as of now, but it is available to all of T2 and T3 clients who are eligible for MRA also. And now that with the help of the SOP of 22nd of August, definitely if you are having some problem, talk to CRM again, that facility is available.
Now, the second important benefits is MRA.
Yeah.
Now, what is the total trade, let us say, percentage of trade covered by all MRAs put together?
Yeah, I don't have this figure.
So just ballpark figures. Let us say we have United States, we have Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
So all this put together, what is the kind of trade? 20%, 10%? Or
I can't have that claim, but definitely there are some more. You can say we have in pipeline 24 more countries, and one point is that when we are not working on one after the another, but we are running parallelly, and very soon you will see a good move in the list of MRAs.
Right. Thank you. In fact, I wanted to hear from Mr. Blaze. He has been making very good use of his AEO certification, the processes that they have put in. What is your experience of refunds, rebates, and faster drawback and faster clearance process? That I would like to hear from you by virtue of being an AEO. What is your experience?
So one thing which is missing in the list of benefits is the waiver from labeling before import. So the MRP labeling as a T2 and T3, we can do it at our facility, at our warehouse, and not before import. So that's again a very important facilitation which is there. Yeah. I'll go with the least and then come to the best. So the refunds, drawbacks, I have been talking to the DIC office and saying that it's not working. We keep using that card there, but it still doesn't work. And we hope that it becomes better. Also, the drawback is for section 75 and not section 74. In any case, section 75 is system facilitated, so it is fine. It will go through as long as you are an AEO. The real is to see how we can implement 74 when it is manually processed within the custom house. Moving from there to appeals, earlier appeals and adjudications were given preference in the ACP program. In AEO, appeals was removed and only its adjudications. Adjudications do happen with a priority. It happens because it's the same custom house which you are dealing with all the time. And therefore, there is a certain level of urgency to pick up the case and take it to closure. We have been saying that even at the appeal level, commission appeals, as well as at SISTAT, we should be getting some facilitation over there, which was there in the original one. Then we come to the third part, and that is on the clearances. I think there is no doubt about the benefit on this one. It is large, it is huge. And coupled with some of the things that were introduced, the digital movement which has happened through iSkate, it works fantastic. All that one has to do as an importer is to ensure that you follow the rule of filing the bill of entry in advance. The rest of it is taken care of. The facilitation is at an extremely high level. What it means really for organizations like us, and I'll give this example. In COVID times, we all struggled getting a vessel, getting an aircraft. You got a vessel, you didn't get a container. You got you have cargo, you don't have space on the flight. And I think hell broke loose at that time. And we were asked to really become very skillful, all supply chain guys. It was at that time that, the team within Ingram Micro said, what do we do? And then we said, yes, we are getting a vessel which is going to Khandla. Somebody said Mundra. Somebody said all the way to Calcutta. We said, fine, just go ahead and put that container on that vessel and move it, because that was a challenge at the time to get space and get the goods moving. We could do this, and we landed up at the end of the period in January of this year, when we do our annual, as a team, we sit together and discuss what more we'll look for this year. We realized that we had imported through 16 ports, airports, and CFSs in the country. Now, without the AEO certification and the T2 facility, it was an impossible task. Imagine paying duty at so many ports across the country, getting a duty paid there. Thinking that if a custom officer raised a query, how will you reach out at Mundra? You're not allowed to travel. It was possible only because of the facilitation that we got, and we were able to do what we did. So there is no doubt. I will give you the live example. Rajiv mentioned that we went we are doing self-clearance. Let me tell you that the best operation under self is at New Custom House, Delhi, and the cargo complex here. And I have shared this with Simi ma'am. Whenever I meet her, I keep saying this, right? It is the place where my person goes there without a single paper. Zero paper. Registration all done online. He just sends an email to the port authority and says, these are my consignments for today. He reaches in the post-lunch session. The cargo is available at a designated area. Most often it is RMS, but even if it's examination is done and the cargo is out, he comes back with a bill of entry printout. So, we have never been able to achieve this, replicate this at Mumbai and Chennai. But it works really smooth at Delhi Air Cargo Complex. So it's great. It's a feature. It's a facilitation which is great. Most important, I mean, is that the impact it has had, positive impact it has had on our working capital. Zero inventory lying idle at the port, almost zero. Okay. We removed labeling of MRP overseas, which means my stock is not sitting overseas, getting a service provider there to label it. It comes to my facility, it moves out immediately. And really, given the GST regulations, since we have a lot of trading which we do, where the e-way bill under e-way bill allowed to, you are permitted to dispatch the goods directly from the port. So goods move from the port directly to the customers in the case of a back-to-back order. So one gets real efficiency in the whole process. And knowing that you don't have to facilitate duty payments every day. My treasury department is smiling all the way. But they have to take care of funds only on 2 days. And it's known what will be the exact amount required on that day. Otherwise, you are funding your account in the dark. And sometimes you have money lying there unutilized at the end of the day. That doesn't happen anymore. So these are real great advantages of being an AEO. And I don't understand why people would stay at T1. They should all jump quickly over to T2. Between T2 and T3, not much of difference. It may be more of a status than the difference. But yeah, I mean, it still need to go up. There are only 70 at T3. I'm one of them. I hope to become the 71st one. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such a detailed sharing of experience. I'm sure it will encourage a lot of people to go through the route that you have taken. And I'm sure more and more people join the category of T2. It will become much more easier for the trade, not only for their own organization. Overall facilitation will also become much better, and it will evolve. Will encourage customs also to give more and more facilitation when there are more and more people. It's just like another example comes to my mind. The threat of security worldwide is like COVID. Now in COVID, if everybody protects himself, then the entire ecosystem is protected. So everybody has to get vaccinated. It's like AEO, if only few AEOs are there, facilitation may not be possible for customs. But if everybody is following the security measures taken, most of the people are following, then it will be very easy for customs to actually improve on the facilitation measures. So I must say that this program, like many other security programs, is actually the most critical one, because it has a global reach, it has a global standard and a global benefit. So we are running short of time, so I'll quickly come to the question of what more do we expect. Here I will start from Arun. What more do we expect from OEA program for LOs?
Wrong person you started this from. I expect the whole world. So I'll just share, and we'll make a laundry list of what our expectations are, and maybe we'll share it in writing. There are a few things which I have written down, in fact, so that I'll just refer to that. There are a few things which we want to bring to your notice. One of them is that while AEO certifications are taken by private players, a lot of PSUs and Government of India doesn't have AEO certification. So this is something which is very amazing, because I was handling a shipment for Ministry of External Affairs, and I had to actually take whole consignment of rice to CFS, stuff it at CFS and move it to the port. I could not do it, and I brought it to the notice of Chairman, sir. I said, sir, this is what the AEO facilitation is. And I have written letters to Customs, Commissioner Customs, asking them, please facilitate. We cannot take rice as a commodity to CFS for stuffing, but they don't have certification, sir. And they don't get the facilitation.
Yeah. So one point is, one I think,
okay.
Yeah, then we will be quick. One point is, the AEO facilitation linked with the AEO certification. Irrespective of what ministry you are getting clearance, if MEA is not getting an AEO certificate, it will not be facilitated. We are very fair. We are very fair in that. And second point, recently we are getting applications from PSU also, Departments of Post. I have got an representation that please make us understand how we have to, we want to apply for AEO. So definitely, it was one of the area where we need outreach. Now we are planning that being trusted trade partners, we must have that category. It's a very good suggestion, and I'll get a good chunk of my sample to send there.
So it is leading by example. So Government of India is automatically AEO because they are the ones who are granting AEO. So we should consider that was the first part of it. A lot of PGAs or the participating government agencies are absolutely not recognizing any AEO certification given. So there should be something coming out from the government or from the customs which should mandate that they recognize the AEO and give facilitation there. I mean, this is one of the suggestions that I would like to make.
On this front, I can assure you that as we are revamping our master circular, we are streamlining these, and this is one of our key areas where we are trying to follow everyone in the line.
So sorry, Arun,
Yeah.
to interrupt. I was expecting you to raise your issues for LOs.
I'm coming there. I'm starting. I just told you I have a laundry list. I'm just starting off.
So LOs, let's focus on LOs.
Okay, so now the most pertinent question, and I was just coming to that even without Rajiv prompting me to do that. While I have also spoken to you offline, but I was bringing it so that all the trade partners here understand this. While T3 and AEO law have exactly same application, AEO law has one annexure less to fill. We have not been given online facility to do it. And it is really very cumbersome to do the whole exercise again, because that was my next point, that renewal should not be same as new registration. It could be a complement to it. If my processes remain same, I should just be asked if there is a change in process on any of the particular parameters, please indicate and provide document. That would suffice. But right now what is happening is, for renewal, you're making the entire process all over again. So these were the two things that I wanted to bring.
On the first front, you are asking this online kind of thing. So what I can assure you that as T1 is completely online, T2 and T3 are on web track mode, that you can have your application status, see your application status where it is pending. Our next target is to get T2 and T3 on the board, then LO. And let me tell you the reason also, which I were not telling you in offline. Because LO being, you can say, in contact with the local area CRM only, you can import for any entity, for Infram on Mumbai zone, but you are still here. And this is my personal experience. When I took that initiative of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I got 82 applications, out of which 46 were LO. Rest were T1 or T2 and T3, because at that point of time, it is contrary to the system that I and my trusted trade partner, my clients were more happy that they have this facility of offline, because they directly go to that zone where this facilitation or this initiative is being taken up. If you are T2, then you have to register, and by online system, it may be marked to any of the CR. I'm not comparing that what CRM will take process the faster or slower, but the point is, if I was taking that initiative, my core area was, let us first achieve that 75 application, and then let us give those certified as soon as possible. And many of you got that, you can say, from that category, are at the verge of getting certificate or have received certificates. 46 was of LO. Again, my sincere request is, don't categorize benefit directly to the tangible benefit. You will see very soon that being an AEO itself is a benefit, and you will feel that now. And I must thank ACFI for inviting these two fantastic people from the trade bodies, because whenever I claim something, it is the view of the department that I have to compliment my program, I have to praise my program. But when it comes from the you can say reputed business entities and stakeholders, prime stakeholders, then it is having a different impact.
Thank you. So can we hear from Mr. D'Souza? What is his expectation?
I'll make a couple of more suggestions here.
Please let us quickly have your suggestions, and then we'll come to Mr. D'Souza, who is the main beneficiary of the entire program. What more does he want? And we will also, in any case,
he's benefiting too much on our cost, so I'm not really happy about that.
In any case, we will be sending him the minutes of the meeting, and in addition, our expectations from him.
Yeah, definitely. And one sincere request also, because I was telling that we are in revamping the circular, we are inviting suggestions, and every suggestion that is forwarded to us, we are taking into consideration. At point, we are not able to respond on that suggestion right away, but we are taking into cognizance, taking into consideration that every suggestions or every feedback that is positive or negative, be blunt in that. I'm requesting you, be blunt in that, whatever you, because if you can't monitor, you can't change.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sir, another suggestion I wanted to make was, again, going back to my first question, in the interim period, suppose somebody is a AEO and there is a prescribed timeline of 90 days.
Arun, just one sec.
Yeah.
We have a question answer session also after this. So
very quickly.
I'm saying let us focus on the additional aspects of what are the expectations from the trade, and then in the question answer session, how much time do we have for the question answer session? So in that 10 minutes question answer session, we can possibly take from audience and you the cross questioning.
I agree. I surrender.
Right. So yeah, let us hear from Mr. D'Souza.
I need a copy of that page.
I'll give you a full draft.
Yeah, thank you.
Give only the copy. Don't give the original. Otherwise, you will forget what you asking. What you asked for.
Very quickly, since we are running short of time. So, sir, first of all, we are saying it's a global program, but we should get this at least AEO program into all. They were asking for the PGAs and other places, but I'm saying let's look at Ministry of Finance only. It should, and commerce, we should get it recognized in SEZ, DGFT. We should get it recognition in the express cargo import. I think these are areas which can be done very quickly. Maybe some system development and facilitation can be done, bringing in the risk management into it. So this will give a large amount of gain to the entire trade. Apart from this, I did mention about appeals, but some of the other areas are that when we go for a refund, as we're saying, there's a lot of documentation we have to do. And one of the documentations, from the traditional is to get an excise certificate, they will not claim CVD. And today it has more to get a certificate from GST authorities that we have not taken GST credit or rather reversed it. This can be given as a benefit to AEOs for sure, where we can do a self-certification, maybe at T3 level, and maybe at T2 level, we say your chartered accountant or a statutory to certify that a credit was not taken, rather than a letter going from the refund department to the GST authorities, then they responding, they send a letter back to us, please give us a register so that we can certify this. That's the letter we get from there. Then we go and submit our papers. On that basis, they give us a certification. And they're not able to tell anything in their system, to pinpoint which elephant in that. So this is another one, which is a major one, which is there. I agree that at the different PGA levels, whether it is the drug controller, whether it is the plant quarantine, and all others, allied act, we should get certain benefits which would help, really, it will also entice people to come on board. You need to create that space that people feel they are missing something, rather than feel that I'm just there, I'm okay with this one. So this is where I will leave it with a small list. We're running short of time, Rajiv. I will send across to ACFI a detailed list and then with a detailed note for each point so that we can take it further.
Thank you very much for that, and we will wait for that, and we will share it with Dr. Pradeep as and when we receive, along with Allo's asks. So now I open the question answer session for the audience, and also Arun would also be given a chance after the audience is through. so because Arun can spend whole night asking questions on AEO to him. So before we should not take away the opportunity from the audience to ask questions.
So, one question, can anybody apply two type of AEO? Let me tell you why I'm asking this. For example, a very large airline who's also importing a lot of aircraft parts, etc., etc. So for them, it would be, they have a lot of aircraft would be viable, but they're also a logistic operator. So the AEO is also fairly needed.
There is no restriction. No restriction.
Yeah, Rajiv Bhatt from Skyways Group. Sir, my question is to Mr. Pradeep. Any chance of adding the road feeder service or the road transporter in the AEO program?
Not under consideration as of now, but how we will connect with this custom practices? This is the issue.
Custom body trucks.
The body trucks. I think that issue is quite simple now. ECTS is in place. Is there any issue in that?
No, sir, I am talking about a new company. Like
Okay.
I am a freight forwarder,
Okay.
but I have a trucking division also.
Right.
So if I am certified as a AEO road transport company, it will be beneficial to me.
Okay. This is certificate already there.
Can I
Under what category? Because you have a freight forwarder and a warehouse operator.
Seven categories.
So you don't have freight forwarder as a category in AEO program. It's a logistics service provider. So you are already certified as a logistics service provider.
Okay.
Hello.
You don't require to separate certification for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Terminal operators, what you said, terminal operators. You see, our terminal operators also.
Yes, custodian or terminal operator is single one category.
Yeah, one
Custodian,
category.
but they have to get registered in that, because whenever we are registering, linking them, then we have to have this name in ICS.
So under
So for T3, like you were mentioning, you need all your business partners also to be AEO. If terminal operator is not, he is the biggest business partner for the entire trade. So that means it will be a hindrance.
This is one condition, and this is one optional condition. If you are enjoying T2 status for continuously 2 years preceding the date of application, then it is not required that your all clients are.
That's understandable. But if somebody wants to bypass that and he has all other partners as AEOs,
perfect.
Then,
We didn't get
then only terminal operator, if he's not AEO, that will come in the way.
But you know, Rajiv,
Yes.
the same circular 1.3.1, which is for AEO law, classifies it as logistics provider, custodian, or terminal operator, custom broker, and warehouse operator. So it's all covered.
It is covered. Yes.
Custodian or terminal operator are under one category. When I am telling you about the registration point of view. So custodian or terminal operator.
So I'm Sushant Nigam. See, I have some basic questions about when we have to convince some applicant to apply for the AEO status. he would ask for the timelines. And the timelines as defined in the circular are never met with. You know it very well. The application, somehow the time, lot of time is taken in making the application for the applicant. Because the formats are predefined, but say for example under the LO category, there are various the players, freight forwarders, custom brokers, terminal operators, custodian, bonded truckers. Everybody has their own role and their own activities to define in those formats. It is very difficult for them because the format is one. See, there are several information which is repeated in different annexures. That has to be looked into, and after the applicant is able to somehow complete the application and he submits, then he has to wait for a very long period. It takes months. It may take a year or more than a year or 2 years also. So, and he can't track his application. Whenever he goes to the dealing officer, he says it is being done. But there is no. There has to be some timeline defined and stuck to the predefined timelines. So that is my suggestion. Please look into it. And there is a lot of subjectivity also. The angle of subjectivity is there. See, one officer may ask you some details, some different things which is not mentioned in the circular. The other officer will ask some other thing which is also not mentioned in the circular. So this also creates a lot of problem for the applicants. So kindly, thank you.
That's why you can see my major portion was on legal compliance in the presentation, because sometimes filling an annexures doesn't tell you what we expect from you. These show cause notices, the ratio of duty demand. I got one complaint then that one officer is asking, we submitted 10 documents, we are an MSME, we submitted 10 documents. Now he is asking for 5 from first half, 5 from second half. After that complaint, in each of my outreach I specifically mentioned that this requirement is mentioned in the circular itself. Sometimes, as Mr. Blaze and Mr. Arun and Rajiv ji also tell that, having go through this circular and these annexures, you will get a very refined model of business, very core areas. And when you compare with WCO document of SAFE framework, you will find that India's AEO program is one of the best program that is aligned to you can say WCO framework. And you can have this scene, we got an MRA with USA. I think you will appreciate that must not be a, you can say easy cake.
Yeah.
Our program is so comprehensive, so extensive. Forget for one time regarding the AEO certificate, if you implement all these parameters in your entity, you will see the difference. What kind of monitoring, what kind of access, what kind of denial. You suspend one officer from yourself, but the access is not stopped. We have 7-point formula for conveyance security. We have multiple, just go, problem is what? Senior management or top management sometimes don't go through the application. They appoint someone, he will make the application, yes, no, yes, and submit it. We asking them, you make the point of contact to that fellow. We request them to remove the deficiency. He never turned up. Late is on our part. We have to be little rational. There is no fees for this certificate. Anywhere you are getting some certificate, you are paying some fees. There is no registration fees, no certification fees. Certificates are being generated, teams are being appointed, but we envisage this program as a hand-holding program, capacity building program, ease of doing program. And regarding timeline, definitely some credit goes to COVID also. Our team were restricted, your companies were restricted. But now, as I am telling you, on 2nd of September, in August, we certified 204 entities. And the list will be available on CBIC website.
It is very transparent. You go to auindia.gov.in, you will get a certified list. You had that list on 1st of August, you had that list on 1st of September. You will see a difference of 204 entities. But definitely we are working on timeline. So be little generous to us also.
Rajiv, just to take, when you talk about timelines, right, I want to share our experience. When we have, the fastest we have been able to get our documentation through the custom system. 37 minutes from the time of filing the document to getting out of charge. 37 minutes. It may be even better. We don't track it. At one point we were tracking it. And I had shared this with board, and it was a bill of entry which was filed at New Custom House, Delhi. And the chief commissioner at that time tagged it, put it on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere that he could, and tagged it to the finance minister and everything. But it's actually the benefit that people are getting. When you talk about timelines, I couldn't resist myself from sharing this experience.
Thank you for sharing this. We are getting sometimes emotional also, because every time you can't have a complaint on Twitter, na? Some appreciation, some appreciation we expect from ACFI.
So just to put it in perspective, 37 minutes as opposed to average TAT for imports somewhere to the tune of 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours. Right. Now compare that 48 to 72 hours with 37 minutes. Now that is a dramatic facilitation. Now coming to the last question from one of our online viewers, he says that the applications should be tracked from the time of submission, not from the time it reaches DIC. Is that possible? Because there's a lot of time lapse between the submission and reaching DIC. So
I think no, it is available. The track is available once the application is submitted.
That was an online question. Maybe the person
he needs to be updated. He needs to be updated. It is not that the timeline starts from DIC. This is the last time.
But sir, this is the case of tier 1, 2, 3. What about LO?
Yeah, LO, I am telling you, LO is in our pipeline, but again, LO are present at the port itself. They are familiar to the CRN also. Many of the LO personally know the DC present there. Then please have some patience. We can have this after T2 and T3.
Right. Thank you very much. So now I hand over the charge to Pradman Kaul to take the proceedings further. For any other questions, Dr. Saab will be available during the tea. You can ask more questions to him one-on-one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you so much, esteemed panelists, and the great job done by our moderator, Rajiv. Thank you so much. I think it was one of the most informative from the point of view of covering the micro transactional level till the macro effect of this certification program. So it would have not been better than this. So we would like to honor our esteemed panelists and the moderator now. May I request Arvind to do the honors. So Dr. Pradeep Kumar, if you can please.
This is the same one or different one?
There is no application tracker on this.
Same registration.
May I request Mr. Blaise D'Souza? Mr. Arun Kumar?
and Mr. Moderator, Mr. Rajiv Khanna.
We'll have a group photo. Yeah, sure.
So we have some more to continue in this program. May I now request Munish to deliver the keynote? Thanks note, sorry. Note of thanks.
Yeah, good evening all. I would request you to be seated just for 5 more minutes. So we'll not take much of your time. We have already exceeded time, I know that. So snacks and tea is waiting, so I'm also curious about that. Please be seated. 5 minutes. I, on behalf of ACFI, would like to express my sincere gratitude to respected Srimati Simri Jain ji, Principal Commissioner Customs, Shri Sanjay Bansal ji, Commissioner Customs, and Dr. Pradeep Kumar ji, for sparing your valuable time for today's session about AEO certification, process and benefits. It was quite apparent how every single person at the event was engrossed by your talk. Your thoughts have given us thorough understanding and insights about the complete AEO certification process and its benefits to the trade. Srimati Simri ji explained the benefits of being an AEO in a very practical form. Dr. Pradeep took us thoroughly through the complete process. We understand that AEO is a recognition given by Government of India, and it gives a lot of privileges to traders, which brings efficiency in the system. We assure you that we will work in the direction shown by you with full zeal and will very soon realize our dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat into a reality. I would like to thank our panelists, our moderator Shri Rajiv Khanna ji, and our sponsors, Delhi Cargo Service Center, Divine Freight Systems, Hercules Aviation, Java & Company, Logistics Plus, and SA Consultants to make this event a success. We look forward to your continued guidance and support to the trade. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Munish. Now we have the last section of today's event. This event would have not been possible if we were not supported by our sponsors. So we would like to honor the sponsors for this event. Arvind, kindly do the honors. So may we request someone from Delhi Cargo Service Center Private Limited? Mr. Bhardwaj, please. Thank you for the sponsorship. And the support of the venue, yes. And all the arrangements here. So may I request representation from Gina and Company to receive the sponsorship award?
also remember I did it.
Thank you, Mr. Kadgara, for the sponsorship support. So may I request Hercules Aviation Private Limited? Mr. Sujin, thank you so much for the support. SA Consultants and Forwarders, thank you so much. Divine Trade Solutions, anybody from there? Yeah, unfortunately, Sanjay Gupta is not feeling well since yesterday, so he could not join us. And we have another sponsor, but we have already honored him because he had to leave. That is Logistic Plus India Private Limited. Thank you so much, and I request all of you to join us for the high tea, please. Thank you.